I'm just not sure.
I know it.
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Take them all down. I'm shaking it. He's practicing. You running for something?
Again? No, I'm not doing it. That's what you said last.
I'd like to. Oh, no, I promise you, it won't be no more. We can support somebody else. It could be Engel 2020.
No, no. Yeah. What makes sense? That's sort of lively. Oh, no, take my dog, go home.
I was worried. Good to see y'all.
I go see who this is. I get in the
Say hi to Scout.
So.
A little pie. It's good.
It's like physical form.
Life better.
Hot this year.
Yeah, man.
Sidewalk, not First, like the post letter.
World dog, dude.
That shows up.
Just asking for it, you know.
It's trying to figure out if it's scanned. So it wasn't working.
Sorry.
Yes, somebody-
Oh, really?
And I was like,
No, I asked that same question. No, I don't think. No, they don't. They so used to go right back to you. Why would they have to reach? They wouldn't. The funeral. Because the reason was done. Wouldn't have to do the whole thing over. No, we heard it separately.
I'm going back and forth on whether just let her do it.
yeah, just.
As long as she's not making any noise or not.
Circling.
Oh, they don't have a problem with that. Whatever, get over it. You know how that works.
That records off.
Right.
No, press the press. I laughed. I couldn't. I laughed out. Man. I like that. Sounds very delicious if he's on Zoom. I have friends who have. Him now?
Yes, okay, good. Jake was, and then Jake fell on the planet. No, no, Edgar's. Yes, it does. I didn't get a chance to go. Doesn't usually doesn't. He doesn't usually does. He usually does not pop up. I haven't seen him on, but maybe. One.
Good guy.
Yeah, Jake's on there for the. It might be. Yeah. With a. And or the our coconut. Or board or vision. Stuff.
Haley, you ready? I know that maybe I'm thinking.
Fun.
Testing.
Like hardy
All
board.
right, we'll go ahead and get started this evening. The City of Center Planning Commission, March 7th, 2023 with a roll call.
Jeff Safarth. Brandon Swoboda.
Here.
Joey Engel.
Here.
Devin Murphy.
Here.
Craig Langford. Barry Harris.
Here.
Ben Lewis. John Sessoms.
Here.
Tony Davis.
Here.
All right, first thing on the agenda this evening is the approval of the minutes from 2023.
John, I'm motion to approve the minute, 21, 23.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is anyone opposed? All right, next on the agenda is the ratification of the admin approvals. There's 5. Were there any questions or comments from any of the staff or the commissioners? If not, then I would entertain a motion for the ratification of the admin approvals.
John, I motion to approve the ratification of management approval that's prescribed below.
second.
Motion and a second. Is anyone opposed? All right, under old business this evening, we have subdivision 2206 Huber Place adjacent street agreement. It's 8801 North Tycoon Road. The zoning is R3 single family and C2. 107.6 acres, 362 single family lots. Weary, want to give us an update?
Yep, John Wary with Have Associates, when we were meeting on the 21st of February. The basic street agreement for Huber Place was tabled. We had a meeting with staff last week to talk about the sidewalk width issue. And staff proposed that to increase the sidewalk on Tycoon to 6 feet. And the sidewalk on the south side of Huber Road, 6 feet. Leave the sidewalk on the north side of Huber Road at 5 feet. And we've revised the agreement accordingly for the commission's consideration tonight. Answer any questions if we can.
Eric, you want to give us anything with staff?
The preliminary plat was previously approved on July 5th, 2022. And then it was amended and approved on February 21st of this year. The adjacent street agreement was not discussed at the original meeting, on July 5th, 2022, and was not approved by staff at the time of the meeting. It was instead tabled to the July 19th meeting, which got canceled. So it was never approved. There were internal staff discussions pertaining to the agreement. It did not go back to planning commission yet for approval. The adjacent street agreement was signed in error without the approval of the planning commission and backdated to reflect it was approved on July 2022. The fire department has requested Huber Road be changed to a different name. And on March 3rd, 2023, a new adjacent street agreement was submitted after meeting with the city staff, the developer, and the project engineer. It was agreed to amend the adjacent street agreement to use 6-foot sidewalks on Tycoon and the south side of Huber and 5-foot sidewalks on the north side of Huber. The street section was agreed to be adjusted to have 4-foot green space and then sidewalks and street trees.
Any questions or comments from any of the commissioners? If there are not, then I would entertain a motion for the Huber Place adjacent street agreement as presented.
John, I motion to approve subdivision 2206 Huber Place adjacent street agreement.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is anyone opposed? All right, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, under new business, first thing this evening is development 2205. Little Crossing Lot 2D preliminary plans. It's at the northwest corner of Marigold and Cedar Street. It is zoned R4 multifamily. 7.38 acres, 132 multifamily dwelling units. And the owner is JTB Real Estate. Is the applicant here to give us an overview?
I am surprised that they are not. They were told the other day that they were on the planning commission meeting for tonight, the engineer and the developers both.
Well, Diane, go ahead and give us a staff overview, and then if there's things that can't be resolved, we'll decide. from there.
Okay, the applicant is requesting. Go to the plan, so you see what it is while I talk, it catches up. See? Don't let me down, computer. All right, they are requesting approval for 132 unit apartment complex located on 7.38 acres at the northwest corner of Marigold and Cedar Street. This is lot 2D-1 of the Willow Crossing subdivision phase 2. And it is adjacent to the Mercy Clinic right here. Y'all saw a track split for this last year. Let me see when it was. I have it on here. They did a track split in. Anyway, they did a track split recently where they split off from the Mercy property on the north and then combined with the existing tract here on the east side. This development was tabled at the request of the applicant at the 12/6 Planning Commission meeting. Due to some changes that the applicant made to the amenities. The site design did not change, but they, instead of having a pavilion and barbecue grills here, they've included a kind of a pool house type thing, a pool, and the there's still a pavilion there, and then they have a dog. The buildings are 3 stories, but they're not 3-story all the way across. They are. What I'm going to have here for y'all. They are, I guess we can zoom in so you can see what the heck you're looking at. They are 3-story in the center, and then they go down to 2-story on the edge of this part. And then they're gonna look like this from the side that doesn't face the street, because for our code, for our 4MF, they do have to have an entrance or at least an entrance type look on a side that faces the street. Because they do have 2 buildings, 1 or 2 buildings that cannot be turned so they face straight on. So like these 2 buildings here, they would have the nice facade that faces there. And of course, they do have the facade all the way around. Right-of-way dedications, right-of-way already exists to meet the master street plan requirements along Marigold and Cedar Street. They are constructing a sidewalk along Marigold because there's not currently one there. And either adding or repairing anything along Cedar Street that may be in disrepair or non-existent. So they're not doing any street improvements other than the sidewalk. The plans propose 1 access from Cedar Street. The big one, so you guys can see that a little bit better again. And watch my computer have part of that. Well, they are proposing just 1 access from Cedar Street for all 132 units. For fire code, of course, all the buildings do have to be sprinkled. They are providing 198 parking spaces, which does exceed the requirement. Fire and engineering did request a fire access here, but planning does request that emergency access actually be a paved, curb cut, everything, actually secondary access to the development. And that is something for you guys to discuss. Since they split this off from the Mercy lot, the part they cut off was their detention. So the detention for this particular development is also the detention for the Mercy property that is going to drain into their detention pond located here in the center of their development, and here's Mercy just off to the northwest. And then they have a very large swale here to convey a lot of this water, because a lot of water does come across this property from the pond on the north side of Highway 102. They will have a barrier fence around it, and then it is piped down along Cedar Street, and it's all gonna eventually end up in the giant Willow Crossing Lake that is further south from Marigold. And the drainage has been approved by staff. As far as landscaping, they are meeting the screening requirements between R4MF and the adjacent residential, which of course is across Marigold and also here to the west. Maureen did bring up a point today, down here on the south, there is an 100-foot power easement that is partway on this side of Marigold and then part their property. So we don't know what trees will actually be able to be planted in that area there. We have requested that they do require that they do have a permanent irrigation system for all of this landscaping, and staff recommends that the developer provide landscaping in this area that is lacking in landscaping. It's not a true requirement because this is commercial and this is commercial, but it would be a nice added bonus. And the lighting plan, they have provided one and it has been approved by staff. And that's what I have at the moment. Let me know if you have any questions or need further details. Or if I need to zoom in on something or.
I think we're all kind of hung up on the one entrance and one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
That's a lot of people for one entrance.
Yeah, that's why planning has requested that they make this an actual true drive, and not just an emergency access.
At least.
It's there. I mean, you basically just have, and it's a mountable curb. So just cut it and put in driveway. They have not been, I had thought for this during the whole thing. There were other things that they're like, okay, well, we'll give you this. But have repetitively said, well, where does it say in the code? It has to have an access, because the fire code didn't require a full access.
But I still believe that it's a safety issue. And
Yeah, that's
For sure.
so, to me, it says it in the code, but
I haven't argued.
code says, or as planned, or as approved by city council, right? So,
Or by planning commission.
so there you go. So that's the or by.
That's why I said,
Or
bring it to you guys and
I'll have to fall on the sword on this one a little bit. So whenever I first reviewed this, I thought in the very beginning, there was an access right there. From the very beginning, I always thought there was an access there, and then come to find out here in the very late of it. For the fire code, they don't have to provide one. It does, it's not over the units. However, what I did get is, since this is one long straight drive. All but one or two hydrants are on the south side of this entrance. Which pretty much destroys that access. Once we get set up, you're not getting through there, period. So we did work out, we did get them to move some hydrants for us and then create this emergency access. So technically, they have satisfied the fire code. However, I agree with planning. It would be a lot better if we had the.
What about even taking the parking lot on the southeast and running it out to
Bring it out to Marigold.
Marigold?
Yeah, right there.
That doesn't help you get out the same way where you're kind of running into the fact that if someone's parked between those electric buildings by the pavilion, if his fire truck is, it still blocks everyone else in.
I'm talking about normal traffic flow. I imagine everybody's gonna be going up Cedar though.
We would like to propose that instead of that, just
Yeah.
fire access, let it be a drive.
And if I might be,
I think everybody's-
Connection,
Yeah.
so why don't they make?
I think everybody's in agreement on that. It's a little bit more pavement, just a little bit. And it's a whole nother drive. I got a question on the pond. Is it in a shared easement with the other property?
It is, yeah.
I'm the municipal representative here now.
Oh, okay.
And I heard the tail end of that about wanting to change the emergency access into a full access. And my only reason for not already doing that is that in my experience with developing is that when we do two entrances, it means that people will drive faster in the development. And so it's a lot more effort to get people to drive the actual speed limit. And so the owner asked me to argue for that because that happens so often.
Clementine,
Yeah, Isabel Lane with Fenwick Properties.
but I mean, it's a parking lot, so I don't know. If they necessarily would drive faster. In that little section.
I think that whole, those two buildings right there though would access that. That entrance and it would, you know, greatly reduce the traffic going on the main side of Cedar. You're basically splitting the buildings there in half or usage.
Yeah, I mean, we can make it a main access. It's really not, it's not an issue. It's just, like I said, our experience of developing in the past on projects in the area and in Fort Smith and everything. It's always been that then it's just a lot more effort and the tenants always complain about people speeding.
Here's a thought. If you live in those two buildings, now you don't have to speed from your one entrance on Cedar Street when you let something at home. To go to get all the way to your building E or building F.
Right, but
But you
if
can come down and come right back.
it's all parking, it's when you're in a parking lot, if it's all parking, then you're gonna go slower, whereas if you have the two entrances. I mean, I'm just saying that's what we've experienced from other developments that we've done.
But you're okay making an entrance in
Make an entrance if that's what y'all want.
That's our desire, yes. I think that was the only thing we,
And then you asked about the pond, it is in a shared easement with the other properties.
does anybody, thank you, does anybody have any other questions or comments?
What kind of one is, it's gonna be like that 100-foot easements on the south side. Both need to get SWEPCO's permission with that screening on the south side.
If not, we'll have to redistribute. Elsewhere on the site in their site.
So this, the last part is gonna be that, but they'll do that before we start doing construction.
I also agree with Diane that the northwest. The northern property line is lacking
There
in.
could be some screening there
Screening, yeah.
between there and Mercy. The back of the building and Mercy.
But our Florida commercial doesn't trigger our screening requirements. Yeah. so.
It would just be nice if I was. In the clinic, might be listening. I agree, John. Like, thank you. When I'm getting my blood pressure checked.
Do we need to talk about anything else?
Well, I was. Are y'all doing dumpsters? Am I just missing them on here?
Ooh, very cool.
Yeah, there's a dumpster here. Here. I know there's one more hiding somewhere from me.
The end of the street. Okay. Is there a? Is there a dumpster enclosure?
There's a detail for it. On
Yes.
It's not gonna be wooden fencing, is it?
No.
Yeah, then I don't have any other questions. If there's no other questions or comments, then I would entertain a motion for development 2205, the Willow Crossing Lot 2D preliminary plans. With the understanding they'll get a second drive and 100-foot. SWPCO signing off. Be the two additional things.
I'll make a motion to approve development 2205 Willow Crossing. Plans. Good. Landscaping plan, line plan. In addition to second drive and SWPCO signs off.
Joey, a second.
Motion and a second. Is anyone opposed? Thank you, guys. Thanks. Good luck.
I drove all that way to turn around and go right back. Maybe traffic will be better on the way back home, Isabel.
Even had her dirty work boots on. She had. Next on the agenda is PUD 20-02 Copper Oaks Cottage Homes Phase 2. It's a request to amend the PUD lot 116. The Copper Oaks subdivision, 116, 100. Zoned R3. And you was give us an overview what you're asking for.
Jeff Roth. I kind of got thrown into this at the last second. But I believe the only thing we're wanting to do is to put a little larger unit on these spots. Nothing changed as far as setbacks or anything like that. We're seeing a demand for people wanting a little more space than those that we have across to the west of this. So doing a little single car garage and a little bigger unit. There was a concern on the overall height. We had an 8-12 pitch roof originally. We went ahead and redrew it from 7-12. Brought us underneath our 25-foot maximum height. But other than that, everything to stay the same. On the units, just wanted to do something just a little bigger. We got people that are wanting to stay for month, 2 months at a time. It's kind of we've learned as we've gone, with the little tiny houses across the street. Those have turned into people that have done weekends and a couple weeks at a time. Had some that have done for months at a time, but we just had a call for some little bigger units. So that's what's driving this.
So no change to the lot size, literally just the footprint of the house.
Correct.
Normally these go the other way. So normally these requests go the other way. So we're a little taken back here.
Yeah, no, I mean, but when you start out with 660 feet,
Yeah.
hard to go the other way. For sure.
Yeah, you already went that way.
Yeah, we're already on the low side, so we're, the requests for a little bit bigger units, and I guess there's been quite a bit of that.
You'd have some mixed use there for the whole property then, because you'd have some shorter stays and then longer stays across the street.
Yeah, we do, yeah, we're gonna probably have a good mix then, it gives us a good mix of those who, so even if we get just say some grandparents that want to stay for the same amount of time, but they don't want to stay in the same house with the rest of the family, they can stay over across the street in a small unit. They don't have to stay in a big unit.
Oh, yeah, we looked at that when my mom came.
Yeah. That's the whole method of the madness here. So then having a single car garage has been a big request, so.
So you're still gonna have this, so they're just getting there directly from the street, because I know the PUD, the parking was to the side between them.
Yeah, the other ones, it was to the side.
Uh-huh.
But we've added we basically added a garage.
And so would they still have an extra parking on the side?
I don't think any of that changes. None of that changes at all.
Change.
Well, I know the footprint, but they have a driveway, a garage that they didn't have before, so that they just gonna drive straight in and not have a driveway at all.
Not gonna have much of a driveway.
I think it was drive right in with kept the parking on the side. Just had one covered spot.
No, they didn't have any covered spot. There
That's what I'm
was,
saying, have
Yeah.
that has the coverage.
There's no drive in the front, it's on the side. And next to the building, not in front of the building.
Oh. Saying the existing driveway would not line up with the garage.
No, it would be to the side because the existing building,
Do you have the PUD document? We could look at.
oh, wait a minute. Hang on a second, see if I can get to that. Relatively quickly. for you guys.
While he's looking for that, I guess I didn't realize these were short-term. Leases.
Well, it didn't start out to be that way, but. We just got a lot of the bike people that just wanted to come in and. So when we started, we were gonna lease them, Cause we couldn't just sell one, we had to sell the whole unit the way that we got it, but. We had a lot of the biker community that wanted someplace to stay and it was perfect for them, so we just had a lot of that, so we just turned it into Airbnb.
Like an Airbnb
I
community.
remember that conditional use come through about a year ago for Airbnb.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it came through here.
All Airbnb, met the requirements for that and.
Yeah.
So
Well, we didn't know that these were gonna be short-term rental until just this moment.
we'd love to just do 30 days at a time. Cause if you don't make your payment at the end of the 30 days, I don't have to go get a lawyer or anything to get you out, so.
But that's a good question. Though. Does the CUD for the other Copper Oaks, does that apply to this one too? Is it one?
No.
Or he had to get another one for short term?
Yeah.
Or-
I said this is the first we've heard of the short-term for this side also. We've obviously knew about the other side.
I thought that this one had a. I
No,
thought this one had a conditional.
no, the one on the other side of the road.
West side.
I'm still looking.
Yeah, we went ahead and met the requirements for Airbnb on it, but this one here, we're not, I don't think we're gonna do Airbnb on it. It's gonna be a minimum 30-day stay.
You tell him.
You agree?
She's apparently upset that it's taking a while to find the.
Maybe it's time to go out.
Have we talked about Airbnb on this property?
This one, the one across the street. we did.
I don't remember that.
The single one's on the other side of the road, yeah.
That was about a year ago.
They're right behind the hardware store.
Yeah, I know, but I just don't remember them talking about that.
We didn't necessarily on this one, I don't think.
Does that bill get passed?
I don't know, because Fayetteville's being awful interesting. You see all that controversy? There was some.
Just want to see them coming out.
Oh, because there's only so many.
You're not logged in, are you? Never mind, hang on. Where's that at?
There we go. Oh, gosh.
Dash O N. Need the beat.
Better now.
I'm getting there.
That's not.
I think we're about to. Yes.
There's an ordinance. You gotta go clean that.
He's like, hey, this was supposed to be a short meeting.
Yes, but I can only click so.
Diane.
No, I feel like I'm. Under pressure.
No, take your time.
All right.
You good now?
Plot plan, but Randy just told me nothing changed. The footprint didn't change or nothing. We were just going 2-story.
Get him back. Set you up, man.
Here's.
I didn't think about parking or anything like that, but we'll still have.
So instead, you're just gonna park,
You can enter off.
come right in off the street and not have a drive.
Yeah, we'll still have to drive that. I mean, that
There's gonna be a ramp.
building, the footprint we got is gonna stay the same. We're just doing a different design of a build of what we're gonna build.
There's no sidewalk.
So you'll still have your side parking. We'll still keep that side parking that we've got there, plus you'll have a garage.
She'll have a garage.
Widen that.
There's no sidewalk up there, right? Okay. Cause that would get tricky.
So the footprint of the house or building stays the same.
Yes.
Add a second story, but
Garage by going up. And get a little bigger unit.
Materials change or anything, or is that even a part of this request? Shouldn't have.
I have a question. So because the footprint does change, does that mean that the requirement for sidewalk and things of that nature in this,
It's all
changes?
It's all private.
This is not considered a neighborhood?
I think they're just going up height.
And then
So-
we're paying under that 25-foot PUD requirement.
Yes, I think the overall, everything else in the PUD remains the same, I believe, except I'm just going up instead.
But this is not considered a neighborhood?
No, this is like a private,
it's a one entrance private.
yeah, it's one lot.
Have you seen those? Have you seen those that are up there?
Yeah, I've seen, them. I just didn't know, they were before me, and so I didn't know.
The same thing that's on the other side, and because it's the PUD, it's all owned by one entity.
And so does that mean that fire wise, is there a fire hydrant? On the property?
Yeah, there is a fire hydrant on the property. And we've already met, I mean, we've already got the development done. I mean, we're done, we're ready to start building.
So the only thing changing is the height of the.
Yeah, that's all we're doing. We're not changing the footprint, it's going up, we're going up higher. Just didn't want to go do it without getting y'all's approval. Thank you.
Anything else from staff or any of the commissioners?
Thank you.
Thank you. If not, then I would entertain a motion for the change for PUD 2002 Copper Oaks Cottage Homes Phase 2 with the request to amend the PUD.
John, I motion to approve PD 20-02 Copper Oaks Cottage Homes, amended PUD.
Joey, a second.
Motion and a second. Is anyone opposed? All right. Nothing else under the business portion, announcement wise. There was a council meeting on 3/14. There is a plan, our next planning commission meeting is 3/21. If you can't be here, just let us know. There's a tech review meeting on 3/23. Do you have something this evening or?
I got here a couple minutes late, but I think we were on item 4.
It was admin approval for the.
I did mention something on that. That does have right of way, and easement dedications.
Council.
So that plat will go to council for acceptance of the dedication.
So, yeah, but we approved those.
Yeah, that's what I gathered. I was only a few minutes late, but y'all were all.
Make up time when we can.
Right, the dog wants out. So
Scout's ready to go.
helping us out tonight. Mr. Mayor.
I just got one thing. I want to thank everybody for coming to our work session last month. We are going to have another work session. None of you have been required to come. I just want to give you an update. Our next work session is 3/28, which will be the 4th Tuesday this month. And I've asked the council to look at the comprehensive plan. They need to understand what we even approved. We spent 2 years with that comprehensive plan. You know, the planning commission, the council, it's been a ton of money. We worked with Council Levine. And the first part I want to look at is goals. I need to see, you know, we need to understand what we need to still follow those goals. We need to tweak those goals. And then move forward if, you know, we want to do any kind of stuff. So I will report back to the planning commission after we have a work session, but I wanted to invite you. You just wanted to come in. We are going to have regional planning come back and help guide us through that process. They're working with other cities, like I told you, Tawnytown, Gravit, and I think there's another one they're working with. So like I said, we've got the framework for the comprehensive plan. I think it's a very good plan. We just got to make sure we just, you know, if we need to tweak it, we need to tweak it. I just want to let.
Will you guys send a planner or an email or something?
Yeah, I could send, them. Yeah.
The 28th?
I can, somebody will,
What time is that on the 28th?
6 p.m. Yeah, we'll be right here. I'll set the table. And if you're gonna come, let me know, and I can set more, more tables up.
I would encourage you guys too, if there's something in that comprehensive plan that's been a challenge for you guys on the planning side. Now's the time to discuss that for sure.
I heard pizza this time, but it's all over.
That's what it takes.
Yeah, and I just wanted to get
Wait on that. There you go.
them on, get everybody in sync with this thing.
I'd also like to not forget that not only, we both approved it, the planning commission and the council. So kind of all in this together.
I said that. Sorry, that's what I meant to say.
We could change it, but man, we
That's
shouldn't.
why I want you there, if you can.
So we can change it overnight. Right, well. Two-year process.
Anything else from staff? And I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Anybody opposed? Thank you, guys.
He's banned our business.
Good time, dude.
Oh.